I'm getting ready for I'm going to go out all excited when I'm done in the 15 minutes. So very, I mean, why do you think you're being part of this, right? You're all
నీకు ఇచ్చిన కేబుల్
small
చిన్నవి
teams, or you're going
బ్లాక్
to be
కలర్ బ్లాక్ కలర్ చిన్న కేబుల్ ఛార్జింగ్ పెట్టుకోవాలి.
So why do you think you're here? Just give me, yeah, contribute to quickly, very quickly. Yeah, contribute to.
వస్తుంది 2 minutes.
Contribute to society, Telugu, like there's a Telugu language interest. Other reasons? No reason is wrong reason. See? We don't need to have a right reason to do good things. Learning, yeah. To learn AI, build projects. Open source, yes, open source. Yeah? Sorry, networking, okay. LLM creation, understand LLM creation. Other reasons? Sorry? RAG. Understand RAG. Okay, I don't know if you're going to understand RAG, but okay, understand RAG, yeah? Telangana accent LLM, okay, yes. More? Other reasons you're here? Okay, to show India what we are capable of, why not, right? So, there are any number of reasons to do this, right? You are here because you know the initiative better than all the others, right? We're hoping by end of the summer we'll have 100,000 interns, right? The first batch we're doing with about 14,000. That's starting, I don't know if it's not already started, starting next week. And so the idea is that you are here, you understand, others don't even understand. So you have to understand this well enough that you can set the right context, right? You may be working with, I don't know, 50 students, each of them. They're going to be working with 50 students, right? 5 teams, 25. 5 teams, 25 students. Now, you have to, see, the idea was that, like, if you're excited, however you got the excitement, right? If you're excited about this, how do we get 100,000 excited interns? If you're talking about the things we're talking, right? We want to create a Telugu LLM, and LLM is no joke, right? It's a huge endeavor. We're getting Telugu LLM, we don't have the data, right? How do you think OpenAI and others were created? How do you think their models were created? Based on what? What data? Based on what data? Yeah? From? Internet. LLM, OpenAI and DeepSeek, these are models that have digested the internet. That's why you can ask it like a Google search. You can ask it any question and it will answer, right? They're not just LLM, they also have digested the whole internet. It's based on the internet knowledge. Now, internet, English is available on the internet, they could build such models. We have 2 problems. What's our problem if you do for Telugu? There are 2 main problems. No data, right? There's no ready data. We can't just take data on the internet and use that to build the model. That's the first problem. And second problem is? Cost, right? We don't have that kind of compute. So they could throw large amounts of compute. So we have to get creative in both these respects. How you collect the data, we have to be creative because we don't have data readily. Now, what is available on the internet for English that's been built digitally over the last 30, 40 years? You can't create it in, forget 3, 4, right, months. Even 3, 4 years we can't create that kind of data. Even 30, 40 years we can't create that kind of data because that happened very organically. We can't suddenly create that kind. So we have to get creative. We can't follow that model. So we said we don't have to digest the internet. Can we create an LLM? Purpose of LLM is not, internet search can be done on Google also. So the purpose of an OpenAI is not internet search. That's not the primary value. Understanding the language is the primary value, right? Understanding how things are said is the primary value. Understanding when you ask a question, what the question is, and accordingly find the right information. Though that's the purpose of the LLM, right? An added bonus with the likes of OpenAI is that it also has the internet modeled inside. You can keep the internet separate and still have an LLM. So that's our approach. And we said to build that LLM, what data we need, we have to collect. And digital first, because it doesn't exist, right? English need not need digital first data because digital data is already available. However, it got created, where companies created it, universities created it, the likes of Wikimedia, open source, communities created, whoever created, the data exists, right? You can just take the data. For us, we don't have data, we have to do digital first. We have to create data in digital. We can't translate. See, the likes of Sarvam are trying to translate. So that's a different approach. Sarvam also is doing what it's doing very well. But they are trying to take existing content, translate it to Indian languages and use that to build the models, which is one approach. We are saying, like, can we do digital first? The problem with translation is you're using existing models to translate, which may or may not be very accurate and definitely doesn't understand. Somebody said Telangana accent, right? It doesn't understand the cultural nuances. Now, the same sentence in literally kind of as per the language in accurate Telugu, the same sentence told in proper Telugu will be told very, very differently in different parts of the two states. Right? It's not about accent, that comes next. Just the framing of the sentence, the phrases we use, the words we use, the way we construct the sentence is different, and all of it will be right Telugu. Right? You can say it in so many different ways. Now that is a cultural nuance. If you have to say something and we say, can we say like how somebody in Nizamabad would say, or how somebody in Kurnool would say, modeling that requires, you can't translate and model that. So you have to do digital first. That's a key element of what we are trying to do. We are trying to collect data from across these two states. We are hoping that the local language structure gets modeled in that process. Right? If we collect data and through interviews, right? We are saying like fastest way to do digital first. Typing is not easy. It will take time. Interviews is the easiest because you can easy to talk. It's not easy to type. When you start typing, you get a block, mental block. Anybody, right? What we can say very freely, if you have to speak to somebody, it's not easy to type, and it's slow also. So it means like typing data, we can ask all 100,000 interns to type something. One, it's not fast to type. Second, the fluency to type may not be very high, right? You may understand the language. Many of the students in these two states will know Telugu, can read and write Telugu, but can they write fast or type fast? Maybe not. So it's not the best way for many reasons. And the interviews was the fastest way. In that process, one more advantage comes in if you do the interview. What is the other advantage apart from being fast? No? Yeah? Accuracy is anyway, even if you type, it can be as accurate. There's something else which you can get only in voice, not if you type. Accent, right? Accent, you can't get it in typing. Now, while it gets digitized as text, so the structural construct, how things are said in different parts of the two states will get modeled in the text. But the accent is a layer we need separately. Now, both happen in this. So it's fast. You get the local constructs, the language structure, and you also get the accents.
Again,
Right?
Andhra and Telangana accents are different.
No, even within Andhra, Telangana, different parts are different. Like if you take Telangana also, Bhadrachalam will be very different from, say, Hyderabad. And so between the two states, we probably have some 20, 25 distinct accents, right? And maybe like many other sub-accents. So we don't know, we have to see. It's an experimental effort for us. We are thinking it will naturally get modeled. And then when we pick, we'll tell the LLM, can you rephrase this, give it a paragraph, and say, can you rewrite this in like say Vijayawada Telugu or like in Srikakulam Telugu. We are hoping it will rewrite because that's part of the way we are trying to, but again we have to see if it happens or not. Now, so the biggest part of this is the way we are trying to do the Telugu LLM, it's one will get a Telugu LLM, right? Ground up Telugu LLM. We believe it will supplement and complement the likes of Sarvam, because Sarvam is a huge effort. It's also a large community effort. Government is backing them in a very, very, very big way because a lot of well-known people like Nandan Nilekani are involved. So that's a fantastic effort. But we believe what we do will complement what Sarvam is doing for Telugu, right? Because in their case, the nuanced, the localized, nuanced understanding of the language and the accents is not there. I mean, the way they are doing it, it won't be there. So we are hoping, because no point, it is all precious little effort, precious little resources that we have, we are putting on this, so we can't duplicate efforts. So then it is a criminal waste of precious little that we have collectively across the country. So we have to supplement. So we believe, we haven't talked to them yet, we are starting to talk to them, there are some connections already, but we believe from what we understand what they are doing, it supplements, and we are going to do it anyway because this doesn't exist, the data set doesn't exist. But apart from the fact that we are going to get a Telugu LLM, the bigger part what we expect is that this will be a model. What we can do, we did some pilot last year, what we do now and hopefully by August, September, October, we'll have the first version of the LLM. Apart from getting the model, we'll also get a replicable approach that will apply for all Indian languages, including Hindi. Hindi probably has the largest amount of digital data. Even that is not much. Right? In all other languages is much lesser. South Indian languages have little bit more than other languages, but especially Telugu and Tamil. But even Hindi is much lesser. It's not enough to build a model if you go use the approach of trying to take current digital data. So the approach we are using to collect data will apply for all languages. We're already in talks for Tamil and Kannada, they are very strong threads. Kerala is the strongest thread. So Malayalam, Tamil and Kannada, there are conversations on. We might start in the summer itself some pilot efforts in Kerala around Malayalam. So we believe once we have done and got the first version of the model, we also have got an approach that we can use for any other Indian language. And the challenges of Indian language are not limited to Indian languages alone. The same challenges exist for all what are called generally digitally resource poor languages or cultures, which is all of the global south. Other than like some of the European languages and English and maybe Chinese and Japanese, there are very few languages that have enough digital resources today. So the challenge we face for Telugu or any of the Indian languages will apply for all the global south, which is Africa, the South America, Central America, right? Good parts of Asia. Many of these countries will have the exact same challenge that we will have. So the approach that we come up with, if it works for Telugu, will be applicable immediately for all Indian languages, and as a model will be applicable for all global south cultures. So Vishwam, the center that we are doing it under, set up jointly by IIIT and Swecha, we are saying the center for AI technologies for the global south. Very ambitious. I mean, we haven't even done anything in Telugu yet, and we don't know what we can do for other languages in the country. And we are talking about global south. We said, let's have a big goal. Okay, if you're going to fail, set a huge goal, work towards that and fail, right? But who knows, we might succeed. But even if you fail, it won't be a failure. We'll get to a good extent, right? So that is the intent, and you're all part of that kind of a community social vision and mission that we've all taken up, right? IIIT is fully behind it. Swecha is already it started off in Swecha, right? Swecha is already fully entrenched. The speech model was built even before IIIT got into the picture. And the whole idea came because through community sourcing, where in one weekend, 5,000 hours of good quality speech data was collected using similar, right, student interns and such about 1.5 to 2 years back. And it is very hard to collect even 1,000 hours of data. Government of India has a program called Bhashani, is the Indian languages mission, to create language understanding, machine translation, speech synthesis, speech understanding, right? Technology for Indian languages, and we were anchoring Telugu. So I know first person how hard it was to collect 1,000 hours of data. It took us few years, and like through the community efforts, Swecha collected 5,000 hours of good quality data in one weekend, right? That's the power of community, right? But again, not that the first time Swecha tried it worked. We tried multiple times before that also, like things failed, but then few failures we could tweak the model, and then this worked so beautifully. 5,000 hours in one shot, one weekend. So we know what it takes. The language pride is a very important part. So how do you activate a large community, right? Like that's why I asked you in the beginning, why are you here, right? Some are here for technology, some are here because you want the excitement of building an LLM, some are here just to understand what's an LLM, right? How to build an LLM. Some are here for the language, some are here for the culture. Now, the pride can come in any number of ways. We call it a $6 billion challenge. We are saying if OpenAI threw $6 billion to build the model, can we build without spending a single pie? Almost, figuratively. We need compute still. We have to pay for compute. We are getting some contributions, but we'll still need to pay for compute. But can we, through community effort, without spending any money, can we build an LLM? So there's another aspect to it. So these are all factors that I think we should feel a sense of pride, right? That's the challenge we are going after. Thing that is seemingly very hard and still cutting edge. And LLM is an LLM. There are very few good LLMs in the world today. And if we build one in this year, we'll be one of the few that have built LLMs ground up, right? And so it's a tremendous accomplishment in itself, technically. But if you look at socially and culturally, it's a matter of pride for us. So that's the journey we are happy all of you are part of. We are happy to be part of it. All of us are volunteers. I'm a volunteer. I'm a faculty here otherwise. But in this initiative, even I'm a volunteer, right? So happy to be part of this initiative. We are hoping in the 4 cohorts that we will do, 4 batches or maybe 5 if required, in the next 3-4 months, we will get 100,000 students. Last time we managed to get about 20 or 24,000 or so. This time we are hoping we'll get 100,000 students. But we are starting off with the first batch because we also want to iron out some of the wrinkles in the whole system, because all app driven, right? I mean, when we have such, you will be inducted into all that because you're going to be helping other students. If you don't have proper work assignment, we can't effectively utilize a large group, right? If you're having like even in this batch 15,000 students in one batch, 14,000 students in one batch, how do you get meaningful work out of 14,000 students? So it's a whole, there's a structure to it. Each one is told what to do, what they collect has to be organized. 15,000 students data, they're spending a couple of hours every day to collect the data over the whole 30-day period. There's large amounts of data. If you don't organize it properly, it will just become noise. It will be completely unusable. and useless, right? Wasted efforts. So there's a whole structure to it. So we learned some from last year's effort, but we're still going to use the first batch to iron out some more wrinkles that might be there, so that the next 3 batches we can do larger groups at once, 25, 30,000 each group. So so thank you for all your contributions, right? And I hope the excitement is inside right now, listening to me, serious faces, but I'm hoping inside you're jumping with joy, right? So thank you and all the best. Should we take some questions or something? Any questions, comments, anybody? We can take a few. I don't want to stand in between you and your lunch. Yeah. Please sit.
It's not a question, sir.
Ah.
Your t-shirt is really cool.
Oh, thank you. I'm a Rajnikant fan. So I wear Rajnikant t-shirts most of the days. So yes, I'm an unapologetic Rajnikant fan. If you anybody Rajnikant fan, you should come to my office. There'll be 30, 40 different Rajnikants in my room, all gifted to me. I mean, people know that I'm a crazy Rajnikant fan. So if they gift me something, one of the few things they can gift me is something about Rajnikant. Yes, Talaiva, of course.
Kerala already have done this course, this course,
No, this is not a course. The data collection,
What we are
not yet. We're talking to them. There's a very strong open source community there. That's also a very active open source community person. He's a minister there, and he understands this immediately. So with his support, we believe it will happen. But they also have structural entities there. There's some of the state missions that have things like this in their mandate that suddenly can activate a very large pool of students. It's a little bit like our task, what's here in Hyderabad. But so we are talking to them. So it's not done yet.
is that we have to collect all the texts of Telugu this thing? Or
Through speech interview. Text we are doing separately. We are getting library digitized, that we are doing, digitizing the books we are doing separately. That will also be added to the model. This effort is to collect digital first data directly. See, when you take a Telugu book, so digital first data, that's the quality of data is very high. The books will give us about language structure maybe, but not the regional flavors, not the accents, none of those will come in that. It will help build the base language, but this voice interview is very, very critical to build a good LLM. Yes, somebody was going to ask.
Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to know what was the inspiration behind starting all of this?
I mean, inspiration was as simple as this, right? I mean, there was already, like Swecha, where it's an open source community, it's also a community that has been in some form anchoring on Telugu always, though it's not necessarily limited to Telugu. But Swecha had Telugu operating system, Telugu Android, right? Telugu Linux. So Telugu was somewhere, Telugu OCR, because they're based here and there's a need in Telugu, right? So partly driven as an extension of that, why not we build a Telugu LLM? Right? And partly because of there's so much of hype around it, we also want to demystify it a little. And so it's a combination of factors. It's one thing led to other. When we all met, brainstorm, I mean, at the end of it, a good team is one where you don't know whose idea it was when you finally start to do something. And this is perfectly one of those. Somebody said something, somebody added to it, somebody said something else. Finally, we arrived at this. So no single reason. The combination of factors. But we are excited. But the single biggest enabling factor was the Telugu speech model that we had, which was done 1.5 years back. I mean, in 23, right? And built in early 24. And that was the trigger. Because of that model was very good, we could imagine doing something like this. Because we can now confidently do through interviews, collect and digitize get the digital data.
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, 1.5 years back in 23, I have participated in that Chandamama Kathalu thing. So what were the takeaways which you had while building that one, and what takeaways you had, and what inspiration did it give to you to build this?
No, I was not involved at that time.
Okay.
Ranjit, Raj and all were involved, but I know about it. It was again an effort where few other things were tried before that, and then that was tried. In fact, I should say before the speech data collection, Chandamama Kathalu was the first successful effort where it actually worked very well. You want to add something to Ranjit? You were involved.
So, yeah. So when OpenAI CEO came to India, so someone asked that, do you think India can make something like OpenAI? He just said, don't dare to do it. So we thought we took it all challenging. many offended, but we just don't want to sit being offended. We want to do something material. Okay? We thought Chandamama Kathalu is step 1. So we can build our own foundation model. So, but we don't have money. We don't have GPUs and stuff. So Chandamama Kathalu is more like our answer to, we want to build something. So we took archive of Chandamama Kathalu archive from 1947 to 2012. The last publication is 2012. Among many things, we also found why Chandamama Kathalu is, from 70s to 90s states. Maybe some of you also have this fond memories that, in the summer vacations, you go to your grandparents, you spend with them, and you have fond memories of listening stories to them. Chandamama Kathalu reflects that emotion. So we want to create a small language model which creates stories. So we took a paper called Tiny Stories. So inspired from Tiny Stories and the database Chandamama Kathalu, we tried to create a small language model. With the limited GPU we have that have been shared with us from IIIT Hyderabad, IIIT Hyderabad, and we thought, okay, then we were able to tell that, okay, we can also build a foundational Telugu LLM. So that is step 1 for what we are doing now. So what we have done for Chandamama Kathalu, now this is a thousands time bigger scale of doing that. Like Chandamama Kathalu is one data set. Now we are trying to procure thousands of books and all the large that have been digitized so far. Some of you should also visit Swecha office. It's located in the knowledge center. It has close to 5 lakh volumes of books. We've been doing this. We are in the digitization business from last 2 decades. So there in we kind of digitized the 1.5 lakh books, and they've already been uploaded online. So we also have been part of a network where such kind of efforts happening across India. So now that is one server selling. That is one set of data which is already kind of have been documented and is digitized. But we know that there's so much of beauty and so much of rich culture of India that have not yet been documented. That is set 2. So part of internship, focus on that. So we'll share about our data corpus app. So we'll encourage everyone of you, to reach out to urban areas, suburban areas, rural areas. So every team will collect their own unique database. Right? We've shared you the whole syllabus in the offer letter. You've seen it, right? So the plan of that is continuing the legacy and continuing the energy we have got from Chandamama Kathalu's success. We're doing it at big scale. So every intern team will be, expected to collect your own unique database. Once you learn all the AI skills and everything, we'll also teach you how to do fine tuning and all. So every team will fine tune AI models and the data you collect. So and this whole small efforts, every small fine tuned model, all the weights, everything will be summed up to a larger Telugu language model. So that's the idea, and we plan to launch it in the September.
Hopefully we'll launch in September. So Chandamama Kathalu was the first one to show that we can build a small model. We are in fact using that. We are calling it a story spinner. Work is happening right now. So one of the professors team here is working on it, taking that Chandamama Kathalu data that we have. So while we create a model, that model initially didn't have any purpose. We just created a model just to show there's a model possible. Now we are creating a purpose for that model. We are optimizing the model to spin. We are calling it story spinner. You can tell it like, okay, can you write a story with something. It will write it in the tone and mode of a Chandamama story. Okay, that's a model is built on Chandamama Kathalu. So you can write, which means you can write stories, which is built based on the Chandamama Kathalu. So that's something we're working on in parallel. But like Ranjit said, that's going to be part of the whole larger LLM efforts. The digitized books is definitely part of it. But like I said, the interviews is key to capture the cultural nuances. We believe that is the primary purpose of this model, which nobody is recognizing it. We had at our AI Days conference, a very, very senior academician told us on stage that this is a wasted effort. Why are you doing it? Right? Even somebody who should know this very well doesn't fully understand the nuances of an LLM. Anyway, we are going to build it. We are clear why we are doing it. Those that understand the technology also appreciate but we have to build to show that what you can do with other models. We are saying use the other model to do what I want to do, get the Telugu text, and then apply our model to convert it to a cultural. Right? You can say now rewrite this paragraph or rewrite this page into this particular vernacular flavor. Now we have to show it. So we are starting to work on that model also, where you can now do this. That's happening in parallel. How to use this model. So September, hopefully, we'll have the first version of it, that we can demonstrate what it means and how can it coexist with other OpenAI on one side, right? Sarvam is not digesting internet. OpenAI is there, Sarvam is digesting all the Indian language context, right? And then we'll have this. That's how we believe. The likes of OpenAI is the first level, second could be Sarvam or the likes of Sarvam, and the final level would be our model, which will do the rephrasing primarily. So we have to demonstrate that. So we'll see. Our job is cut out for us, right? But we hope we can do it. We'll see. September is our target. Okay, I think I've already taken more than the time. So thank you again for all you're like the pivots. One more question. Okay, last question. Yes.
So my question is about what Rajesh sir was just speaking about. So we've been told that we should be collecting information in audio or video format, right, sir? So my question is, can you explain briefly the procedure on how do we process this information and maybe filter them or retrieve the information that we need out of them briefly?
So primarily, like I said, what we need immediately are two things. We want the text of what they're saying. They're saying something because to capture how somebody says something in different parts of these two states, right? So we want everything will be geotagged, right? When you record, everything is geotagged, where it's being recorded. So the assumption is like that person is from that region, right, or part of the state. So we want the text, which will come, just the interview voice is enough. From the voice, we'll use a speech model that we have to convert that to text. That's one primary requirement immediately. Second requirement is the accent, which again will come from the voice, right? We're not going to do much with the accent right away, but we're going to build the speech models. The current speech model that we have, there's a speech recognition and speech synthesis. For speech synthesis, today it synthesizes a very more kind of one common neutral accent. We'll have to extend that model to synthesize it. You can tell now, can you say this in this accent? Then the model will speak in that accent. So for both of these, which is immediate, the interview voice is enough, right? But we're saying at this scale, 100,000 people, they're probably between the 100,000 talking to maybe 30, 40, 50 people each, right? So which means we're talking about like 30 to 50 lakh interviews of maybe few minutes or longer. That kind of opportunity won't come by easily again. So we are saying let's capture as much as we can. So the video is something we're not going to do anything right now. But we are saying we only want the audio, but let's record as video, right? So now if you're talking about a place, right, you're talking about a religious structure or an old monument or something, or even just something saying like this is the local food or local fruit. It's good to show as you're speaking, right? Now we may not be able to do with any.
English and Telugu?
The only Telugu. Yeah, the interviews will be in Telugu only. But I'm sure some people may speak in English. It's okay. But the assumption is Telugu.
No one speaks 100% Telugu in Telugu states.
Yes,
There will be
so
some mix of English, Telugu.
which also adds to the cultural flavor, right? That's how Telugu is spoken today, right? So the idea was to record that. Later we may build models. Supposing like we can take all the monuments and we can build some visual model, right, based on that. So the video is for future sake because we can't go back and collect again. But we have some plans already, just that we're not going to do anything with it right away. We'll finish the current phase and then start looking at the videos. So that's the whole, right, long answer, but good question though. You need to understand why you're doing it. This is how we are doing it. The voice we want for sure. The accent, the way they say it naturally, we want for sure. Video we're collecting because we can't go back to them. And there is a video relating to what they have spoken, right? So we'll build different visual models later, right? They're called very large visual models. We'll do that later like LLMs, large language models, there's also large visual models. We are going to build the visual model later, which will again capture the culture, right? It's not like we're not going and talking about factories or hospitals or such. It's all cultural things. So it'll be a very interesting model, but that we'll work on maybe early next year. Okay, so thank you again and all the best. I'm sure we'll be meeting through this next several weeks, but all the very best. I think we greatly appreciate it. We are doing it for our own reasons, right? But many of your students, some of your recent graduates, right? For you, the reasons may not be after some years of doing this, 10, 20 years, we can have our own reasons, which is not easy for you to appreciate. So we are very, very kind of thankful that you all believe in this and you are part of this journey. And so we will get the technology learning and all that will happen anyway, right? It's geared for that. We are also saying like, can we get 100,000 AI aware engineering students? Can we get like 25,000 people that understand AI at a much better level? Can we get 10,000 that can do good programming, right, for building different AI solutions? Can we get 1,000 people that can build AI tech? That's the hope. We'll see, right? It'll all happen, and it'll all happen. And you're on the 1,000 end of it, right? All of you. We hope that many of you, if not all of you, will want to do this and then go on to do kind of more deeper and bigger things after this, with us or otherwise, right? That's the hope. If you understand this well enough, you'll want to go do something with it. That's the hope. We'll create those few thousand people that are very good at building AI technologies, and at least 10-20,000 people that can build AI solutions, which is good, right? I mean, the scale, I don't think this kind of scale is possible anywhere else right now. So, lot of things possible, and thank you for your interest, time, and all the cheerful energies you come with. Thank you. All the best.
So thank you, sir, for adding so much of energy.
I hope so. They don't look energized, but like I said, I'm hoping they energize inside.
Almost time for lunch.
Yeah, like I said, I hope they all energized inside. It's just not showing in their faces, right? Say yes. Loud yes. Okay, good. I'll believe that.
I have a spare.
So like we're telling, I'll add AI models every day.
But I have one idea.
We'll wait for some time. I'll close for the last 10 minutes. Okay? So, sorry, we'll talk later. Hi. I'm sure you're using AI models almost every day from last 2 years. You might have observed something. Excuse me, sir, silent. Can you please be silent? Yeah. Okay. So when you're trying to interact with AI models, you might have observed some pattern. All these AI models have been trained on data that's scraped from internet. The maximum they can reach is they can't go outside internet, right? But historically, all the internet data is composed by, majority of this internet data is composed by American and European citizens. Okay? Digitally, so majorly you have, so when you train these AI models on this data, so that's the very reason these AI models will have more context on Halloween and Thanksgiving. But if you try to ask more about Dasara, Sankranti, or some regional festivals like Batkama or Samaka Saraka, they'll struggle, or they might not even have any data and they just randomly hallucinate, right? So now you understand the gap. Okay, so the problem with this gap is, two reasons. One is, especially corporations like OpenAI or Microsoft Copilot or others, they don't bother about capturing all this data and to fix this problem. Okay, they are serving one section of people, and I think they're done with that. But we, as citizens of India, everyone who is trying to build, trying to take India forward, or countries like India to take forward, we see the problem here, right? Imagine the potential we can create. Imagine the great ecosystem we can build if we digitize all these things. Maybe we can create. So the future will be 3D printers, robots, and everything. Now we also seen an image, something like called 3D food printer. So if you give a recipe, it will create food. But the point now is, many local cuisines have not yet been digitized and documented on internet. Many Indian cuisines, you have Kakinada specials, you have Godavari specials, you have Nalgonda specials, you have Karimnagar specials. Many things have not yet been properly documented. Imagine a future where by leaps and bounds we have robotics, robots, 3D printers, and all things are coming. But the point is, it's skewed. The knowledge systems are skewed. You can only footprints like pasta or pizza or some things that have been documented. At max, what is the chicken variety they eat in UK and butter chicken or something like that. Maximum that, right? So you will also be forced to eat all those tasteless food. Just giving a funny example. Huh? Yeah. So that's the reason. So imagine. So that's the reason we're asking. We should digitize all the knowledge systems. Only when we digitize all these knowledge systems, we can build advanced systems like AI systems and other systems based on this digitized data, right? So as part of internship, of course, you'll be trained on end-to-end AI developer skills. You'll be trained on. We'll give you complete training on collaborative software development will teach you programming language like Python, basics, advanced, will teach you how to use Git, how to use VS Code, and all of the stuff. Will also teach you AI fundamentals, will help you fine tune your own AI models. Okay, so we'll share the detailed program structure in the mails once you complete your onboarding. Okay. The fourth week, the third week and fourth week will be focused on building projects. Okay, simultaneously you will be collecting the databases. Okay, along with collecting databases, simultaneously you will also be working on fine tuning your data AI models. Along with fine tuning AI models, you're also expected to build AI apps based on the models you have fine tuned. Okay, imagine something like maybe like Duolingo is a very popular app. Imagine creating something like Duolingo for all Indian languages. Imagine the huge potential we can unlock. Okay, so you can create multiple apps. We have Ramesh Loganathan Garu, we have Hysia, we have TAS, we have Meta, we have Swecha, IIIT. Anyways, there with you with Visham. We are trying to bring more stakeholders into this program. So let's work collectively, build a large Telugu language database and build Telugu LLM. So all the best for you and thanks for coming. So we're done for today. So I request all of you to make sure that your document verification is complete before you leave. Okay. So thank you all for coming again. So this is so I request all of you to please add this hashtag. We're also trying to track social media posts. I've seen already some of you have started making social media posts on LinkedIn, Twitter, and few other places and tagging some of us. So we would like to keep a track of all the social media posts. So our volunteers are also thinking of reach out to you and gift you some kits and swag. So people with who are making good social media posts and people who are making social media posts with great engagement. Okay, so this is a hashtag and you can also follow us on different social media handles. We go with the same name, Swecha Telangana, and we have a common username in all popular social media networks at SWECHAFSMI. It's Swecha FSMI. Thank you all. Zoom చేయొచ్చా?